Alright, what is up? What is good? We're reading a new chapter of One Piece. This is 1129 with the strange, kind of ominous title Live Dolls, which I guess is what the mysterious masked giant man uses as a term to refer to his captives that he has living totally ignorantly in a mirrored cage of his design, filled with dangerous animals that they worship as gods. A truly strange and twisted situation, but one that I don't think ultimately will be a major threat. They've already broken their way out. They've already trounced the giant animal gods. Like it's whatever. Of course, fighting a giant is never trivial, but Luffy has taken down a couple giants in his time. I don't think this will be a big problem, but I do want to speculate a little bit on the identity of this giant. I think it's probably Loki, the prince of the giants. He looks kind of young, relatively. He doesn't have the trademark gigantic bushy beard of the giants, or at least we can't see one. I also think, too, that this is going to be a not really super threatening character, ultimately somebody who's an ally. And my biggest reason for thinking of that is that he's masked. He has a creepy cow skull mask. And if there's one thing Oda likes doing time and time again, is having an ominous, scary mask get ripped off to reveal a funny face. And I think that will happen again. This guy, in the end, is going to have the same goofy grin and kind of cartoony motifs as all of the other giants we've seen so far. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be the villain of the arc or anything like that. I assume that this situation will be explained and mostly resolved within this chapter, and then we will have our Elbaf adventure proper, which will be full of revelations and cathartic reunions. And somebody who is sitting on the shore of Elbaf waiting for them to show up, possibly Shanks, is going to make his appearance. Okay, anyways, here we see on the cover page Yamato continuing his journey around Wano, hanging out, watching ninja training. Very fun, very cute. What's her face there? Can't think of her name. Shinobu? Yeah, Shinobu. Overseeing the elder but not elderly ninja. Okay. So the sun god is now stomping around the kingdom. Flames through cracks in the sky. The kingdom is doomed. The world is ending. My dogs will pay what you do to my temple. To my pets. I mean, my servants. Yeah, this guy in the end is kind of goofy. I really, really like his design. Like, I really do like that Oda can have so many strange tonal and kind of character design overlap, you know, throwing in a character that looks like this into a cast that typically looks a lot more silly and exaggerated. It's just awesome. But underneath, this guy's a goofball. I can tell. It's more like a demon. For the slope, they're riding around on the cat god. Lord is cat. Probably in Japanese, that's like Lord Neko Des. Maybe a reference to Sosuke's classic novel, I Am a Cat. Build this, we gotta split it without busting it up. I think Luffy thinks this is all very cool. The horrible ethical implications of this might be actually just totally lost on him. The schematics for this country. Okay, Nami has already memorized it because she's a beast. This is great. Just seeing the original five, you know, their talents and specialties coming to play. Keeps going and going. Clouds are just cotton fluff hanging from the ceiling. Oh, this is so fun. It's just this idea of it's so delightful, the idea of building this whole miniature world and having little miniature people live out their lives in it. There's so many children books on this theme. I remember one called like The Castle in the Cupboard or something, where a kid builds a castle and it comes to life. that really enchanted me as a child, you know? And all these ideas of, well, what would you make this out of? What would you make that out of? What would they think as little people? You know, what would you realize as big people? It might look huge to us, but to a giant, it's a regular old room. Walls are mirrors. No one of the scenery goes on forever, of course, yeah. Already we can see the layout. I like, too, that I think I misjudged this one, that I was like, in the distance, it's the castle again. And I was like, oh, he bought multiple of the same set, but no, it all just shows up in the weird, or in the mirror. Weird. That's a weird mis-output. Halfway across the so-called kingdom. Yet this was originally a holding cell for giants. Talking a bit like a samurai. Built to prevent giants from escaping. It matters not if you reach a wall. Never break through it. There's only a dead end. Okay, I like this. It makes sense that that's what was reappropriated for this. And it speaks to Elbaf maybe being in a more peaceful era. That before maybe there is infighting among the giants. There was strife over who was in command maybe, with different factions imprisoning one another. And now it just is this strange, twisted experiment run by this nefarious sun god. I also like, too, that, you know, the villain's plan involves them not being able to bust through a big wall. When what does Luffy like doing more than anything else? That little Kool-Aid man of a pirate busting through walls. Yeah. Already, such obstacles are mere slowdowns. Zoro effortlessly slices through. Sanji kicks stuff away. The cruel and violent ear god awaits them ahead. We have some bad news about the ear god. Oh, I love this. And again, it's like the last arc, everything was hard. They were getting tricked by York. They were getting confused by scientific marvels. The Gorosei showed up. The Pacifista were there. The new Seraphim were there. There was no easy fights. Things were chaotic. They had to get miraculously saved on a couple occasions. Here, they get the stomp. It's nice to have a little pub stomping where you're reminded that, you know, our heroes are extraordinarily strong at this point, and that even mighty giants have no way to estimate their strength. That was a vicious carnivorous rabbit. My glut bunny. That was like gluttony, a little pun there. I like that we get to see it too, because it had been dead already by the time we encountered it before. So this too is how the world works. A story without a script unfolding in my little walled garden. I underestimated them. They are most exciting after all. The foo-foo-foo. Yeah, so this guy gets a unique laugh too. This is definitely a big deal. This is not just some random giant kid like I thought at first. Which I think would have been funny in its own way, that the Straw Hats, these mighty pirates, just kind of get caught up in a kid's little playtime. But no, this is a big deal giant, for sure. The world I created has developed its own evil and its own heroes, where the Straw Hats are the evil. History is being written before my eyes. This is the charm of my little live dolls, the mini world that belongs only to me. Okay, so they get that they should escape. They worship the sun god because they know he has a lot of power over them. They worship the other animals likewise. But they do want to escape. I think probably this hasn't been going on for so long that they had been born here and that there's been many generations of live dolls. In the end, I think this will be, again, ultimately more harmless than it seems, because I think that this guy is going to be redeemed and be our ally during this arc. Yeah, Hadrudin may accept you, but I do not, so it is your move. He definitely knows who the Straw Hats are. He did this very deliberately. Maybe this is a moment of controversy among the giants, that Hadrudin decided to ally himself with another pirate crew to be, honestly, you know, the subordinate of another pirate crew. I'm sure is very, very foreign to the giants, who are used to being these apex predators, these unstoppable forces. So this is interesting. Yeah, the main giant pirates are obviously the Straw Hats' friends, but that doesn't speak for all of giant society. Okay. He shatters the mirror, but the big wall behind it remains. Well, it's really tough. Helpless Dolls fighting against fate. Best story ever! I'm very curious what the Japanese was there, because best story ever is definitely like geek speak, right? Like, and I guess this also kind of harkens back to Sanji saying that he speaks kind of like a samurai, because he's kind of like an otaku, right? Like, he has this weird game that he's playing. He's kind of like a RPG fan. He dresses them all up. He sets up these like quests and towns and wilderness and stuff for them. And a big thing in Japanese culture is otaku are known for speaking in a weird kind of like pompous, old-fashioned way that samurai speak. In fact, the word otaku, which means kind of like my household, as a term for self-reference, is that kind of super out-of-date, super anachronistic speech pattern. So yeah, the best story ever, I think, is also probably some sort of like otaku speak. The chapter being titled RPG as well. The previous chapter certainly speaks to this, and the term like live dolls. I was right, it is kind of creepy, because this guy is like a little plaything otaku. Part of this world is despair and hopelessness, and part of history is defeat and disappointment. The tragic folly of the weak, and yet so brave, a real tearjerker. Another maybe otakuistic term, tearjerker, you know, it's not actually... It's very common these days, but it's not actually, like, typical English. So glad to have you in my collection. Ultra Rare Luffy, Ultra Rare Zoro, Ultra Rare Nemi, Ultra Rare Usopp. Yeah. Nah, this guy is definitely just big otaku. Ultra Rare Sanji, Ultra Rare Chopper. Yeah. I like that Luffy calls it Mini Gear 4, because they're all mini in this world. Natural disasters aren't anyone's fault, right? Earthquakes, floods, lightning, you can't blame those on anybody. Seen plenty of enough terror for one day. I'm sick of this guy. The same rage towards this changing your clothes. Yeah. It's pretty perverse. It's divine retribution. Yeah, okay. And here you can see a little preview of his goofy face. So this is all how it happened. His loyal crow, which Loki had a... Is that right? No, Odin has a pet raven. Loki, I don't know what he has. Anyways, yeah. Straw Hats crew, this is how they... Yeah, it all makes sense. Pass through the sleeping mist on the road to Egghead. I mean, maybe. Maybe they're just drunk. But yeah, look at this guy. This is definitely... Look at the goofy-ass face. His edgy, swept-across bangs. This guy's definitely like an otaku. When I heard that Hydrogen had cast aside his dignity to become henchman, I was furious. Does that make me, as a member of the new Giant Pirates, a henchman too? Almighty warrior of Elbaf, subservient to some tiny human, has he had no pride? Ah, calling Navi his Oshi. I'm so smart. This is such a great character. I get it because it's a funny idea, and I have such faith in Oda to be funny, and so I can see it coming a mile away. It's so great. I just love this too. Like, you know, One Piece is a fantasy world with pirates and all sorts of supernatural and crazy things. So how do you incorporate a very modern, very real world character, like an otaku character? Like how do you manifest that? You already kind of had it with Bartholomew being a big Luffy fanboy, but that's kind of like another character archetype. So it's like taking that archetype and coming up with such a creative and unique scenario for him that he is a giant otaku that likes collecting humans and making them into little game pieces. That's funny. That's so good. simply go missing to the rest of the world. So yeah, the other Straw Hats are confirmed somewhere else. I guess they were probably on the Giant's ship when the Sunny got lifted up. Stuck in here with me, struggling to get free. I will not serve you, you will serve me. I never made that. Dude, Nami is so strong now. Nami is giant tier. She's fucking up a giant with the power of Zeus. Let's go. You talking you're a god? Check out. We got a real god. We got freaking Zeus. I hate to leave. Yeah. I mean, that's so true, right? Luffy loves stuff like this. He would have had a blast. I think that's the funniest part, is even if the plan went perfectly in Loki's way, I'm just going to call him Loki because I'm pretty sure that's Loki. Even if Loki got everything he wanted, Luffy would have just had a blast running around, playing, building stuff, fighting giant animals. That's like the best parts of his life, are just running around fighting giant animals. So long, Kingdom of Blocks. Alright. Yeah, please let it be Elbaf outside, of course. Usopp has dreamed of coming here for many, many years. Alright. And we're here. We're in the Land of Giants. Elbaf officially starts. I think that was a fantastic little mini arc. We set up a probably pretty major character in Loki. It was hilarious. There's some good mystery. It starts off so surreal, throwing you in the deep end. Nami is in a world made out of Lego. What the hell's going on? It's so clever, you know, because Lego is Danish, and the whole country is very, like, Scandinavian and Nordic. It's beautiful. I can't praise it highly enough. This is why I love One Piece. This is why I love One Piece. What's next? What's next? Alright, okay. Bye-bye for now.